You won't believe this, n8n just added data tables, and it changes everything. In this video, I'll show you how to use data tables to build a restaurant ordering system, from form to data table to email, all within n8n. And if you stay till the end, I'll show you a special part 2 where I build a Slack AI agent that allows the restaurant to actually update the order instantly. So let's see it in action. So before we begin, let's explain what a data table is. A data table is n8n's own inbuilt database. A data table is just like a spreadsheet, but it allows us to interact with it through n8n. So we can store, get, or even update any of the data within the data table. And it's perfect for lightweight solutions such as storing lead data when they submit forms, tracking sales orders, or even just a lightweight replacement for Google Sheets in very small projects. So I'll quickly go and show you a data table that we've built for this workflow. And I'm going to store all of the customer orders when they submit a form on my website. So you can see here that I'm storing the customer name, their email, what item they ordered, the quantity, and even the status. And if you wanted to expand this data table, there's the ability to add new columns. So we can go ahead and enter a new column, let's call it price. So in this instance, it would be number. But for the purposes of this demonstration, let's get into it. So what you see here is our first node is a form where the customer can enter their order information. The second one is an insert order node, and this will actually insert the customer order into our data table. After the order's been inserted into our data table, we'll go ahead and send them an email saying that we've received their order. Next, we'll go and ping Slack to tell the restaurant that a new order has been received. The restaurant will need to go and approve the request to say that the order has been received. Once the restaurant goes and approves the order, we'll go ahead and update the status of the order in our data table, and then we'll send an email to the customer saying that the restaurant is preparing their order. So let's give it a go. So I'm just going to click on execute workflow, which is going to bring up our form. So this would be a form that would be on your website, for example. They'd enter their name, so Chris, and they'd enter their email, chris@red.ai, and what type of item they'd like to order. So I'm a big fan of Hawaiian pizza. I'm going to order Hawaiian pizza. I'll just enter a quantity of 1. So as soon as I go and submit this is going to begin our workflow. So you'll see in the back end, what's happened is we've actually inserted the customer order into our data table, and I'll just quickly show you what that looks like. So you can see here, we've got Chris, my email, what my order was, the quantity, and we've got the status of order received. This has just sent an email directly to my email saying, order received. Hi Chris, we've received your order for a Hawaiian pizza quantity 1. Thanks, the pizza joint. After the email has been sent, we're going ahead and sending an approval request to the restaurant through Slack. So if we go to our orders channel in Slack, you'll see there's been a new order received. The order ID is number 2 for Chris, Hawaiian pizza and quantity 1. As the restaurant, I can go ahead and approve it, and this will tell the customer that their order has been received and that we're currently preparing their order. So once I approve it here, we'll go back to our workflow, and you'll see that there's been an update to our data table, so the status is now changed, and we've also sent a preparing order message. So if we go to our data table next, the status has changed to preparing order for order number 2. And the customer has received a new email preparing order. Hi Chris, we are currently preparing your order for your Hawaiian pizza. We'll let you know as soon as it's ready. The next part of the workflow is the secret sauce I was talking about. So once the restaurant has finished preparing the customer order, they can now tag our n8n bot and provide an update to the customer. So I'll quickly show you that. They'll just simply tag n8n demo. Order number 2 is now ready to be picked up. So what's happening is behind the scenes, we've actually got an AI agent that has been pinged and is interpreting the message and is going to go ahead and send an email to the customer saying that their order is now ready to be picked up. It'll also update the data table, so the status will be changed, and it'll go ahead and reply in our Slack channel. So you can now see what the AI agent has done. The status of order 2 has now been updated to ready for pickup, and an email has been sent to Chris to notify them that their Hawaiian pizza order is ready to be picked up. So here in our data table, we can see that the status has been changed to ready for pickup. We can see that the customer's received a new email. So dear Chris, we're excited to inform you that your order number 2 for 1 Hawaiian pizza is now ready for pickup. Thank you for choosing us, and we look forward to serving you again. So how does this work in the back end? Well, we've actually got an AI agent that is listening for any mentions in our Slack channel. you can see that our pizza order AI agent has access to 3 main tools, which is your update row in the data table, your get row in the data table, as well as send a message. And finally, once it's completed all of its tasks, it'll go ahead and send a message back into Slack telling the restaurant that the job has been completed. And that would complete our end-to-end lifecycle of our restaurant ordering system using n8n and data tables. But don't go away, because I'll show you how to build it step by step now. Okay, so the very first thing that I want us to do is to create a data table. So if you go into your n8n instance and select on the data tables tab, I want you to click on create new data table on the top right hand side. And we're going to call it pizza orders. I'll just call it 2 because I've already got my data table set up. So the next step that we want to do is to add all of the fields that are on our form. So we'll go ahead and the right hand side, click on the add column. And the first field we're going to add is customer name. And we'll leave this as a string type. So the next one we're going to add is an email, and this will also be a string type. Next, we'll go and add our items, which will store the information about the different types of pizzas. This will be a string type as well. Next, let's go and add quantity. This one will be a number, so just go ahead and add that. And finally, we'll need a status. So we'll go ahead and add that as a string type too. So we now have our data table set up within seconds. This is what's going to be referenced in our n8n workflow. So I'll go ahead and show you that. And just remember, I've already set this up. So I'll be referencing my existing data table called pizza order. So now in our n8n workflow, the very first node that we're going to do is a trigger for a form submission. So you'll see here, I've just given it a form title, order form description, Italian food, order your food. And then I've given it the following form elements. So your customer name, which is text, it's required. Your email, which is an email type, required. Item, which is going to be a drop down. So we can give it different field options. So I've just selected margarita pizza, pepperoni, Hawaiian. You can add whatever you want. We continue down and then we add quantity, which is going to be an element type of number. And that's all we need to do. So let's go ahead and execute this step. So just type anything, john at example.com, item, margarita pizza, and quantity 1. So go ahead and submit that. And you'll see our output now. We need this output because we're going to map it to our data table action in the next node. So if we click into the insert order, this is just the insert data table action. We'll go ahead and select our data table that we've just created. So I've added pizza orders, and then we want to map each column manually. So the easiest way to do this is just simply drag and drop into the corresponding fields. So we'll do one for customer name, email, item, quantity, and lastly for our status, we're going to hard code this as order received. So let's go ahead and execute that. And you'll see here that we've actually populated the data table now with all the information. If we go back to our data table, we can see John example has just been added and the status is order received. So the next step is we want to go ahead and send an email to the customer saying we've received their email. So we add a Gmail send a message node. Make sure that you add your Gmail credentials. We'll use the email as the 2. The subject, we can do whatever we want, but I've just said order received, number, and the row ID. And finally, we'll do a little short message. So, hi customer name, we have received your order for the item, quantity, whatever it is. Thanks, pizza joint. So let's execute that. And the next node, we're going to send an approval request to Slack, our restaurant per se. So you'll see here, we've got a send a message and wait for reply. Connect your Slack credentials. If you don't know how to do that, check my previous video of creating a Slack bot and I'll show you how to step-by-step go through setting up your Slack credentials. So the resource is going to be message. The operation is send and wait for response. And we'll select our channel. So I've created an orders channel. And what I want to do is just send a message, new order received, a package emoji, and just the details of the order. We'll set the response type to approval and set the append n8n attribution to off. So when we go ahead and execute this step, you can see a new order received message has just been sent to the Slack channel. And now our restaurant has the ability to approve the order. So when I go ahead and click approve, we'll go back to our n8n workflow and you can see now that the send message and wait for response has now been set to green. So we'll go ahead and update our row. So in this row, what we're doing is we're using the same pizza order table and we're matching on the ID, which you can see has been specified in the insert order. Underneath that, what we're doing is we're changing the status to preparing order. So let's go ahead and execute this now. Awesome. So if we go to our data table, we'll just refresh it quickly. It's currently in order received. And now it's been set to preparing order. Our final step in this workflow is to send an email to our customer. So we'll use another Gmail send message node. And again, we're just using the operation to send to the JSON.email. Subject is preparing order and the order ID. And I've just added a simple message. So, hi customer name, we're currently preparing your order for item name, quantity, and we'll let you know as soon as it's ready. Thanks pizza joint. So once I go ahead and send that, the customer will now receive the email. So that's our first n8n workflow, and you can stop here if you want to play around. But if you want that secret sauce, I'll go ahead and show you the next part. So in our second n8n workflow, we've actually got an AI agent who's going to do a lot of the thinking for us. What we've done here is added a Slack trigger. So again, add your Slack account credentials. And what we're going to trigger on is anytime the bot or app is mentioned in the channel orders. So I'll just quickly show you that. Let's go and execute the workflow. And now we're going to be waiting for a trigger event. So when I go back into our Slack channel and I tag our bot, so for example, the restaurant has now finished making the customer's order, I'll go ahead and say, order number 3 has now been prepared and is ready for pickup. So once I click enter, our n8n bot is going to receive the trigger notification. And you'll see it's just replied with all the actions that it's done. So the status of order 3 has now been updated to ready for pickup. An email has been sent to John informing him that his order for 1 margarita pizza is now ready to be picked up. So let's go and see how it works. So in our n8n workflow, we can see that the Slack trigger has been executed, and you'll be able to see all the information that's been passed. So you can even see the text of what the restaurant actually wrote. Then we go into our AI agent, and we're using the prompt as the text from the Slack message. So order 3 has now been prepared and is ready for pickup. And then we've defined a system message. So in our system message, we actually tell the AI agent what to do. So you are a helpful internal AI assistant on Slack who updates the status of an order in an order data table when a Slack message has been received. We then give it instructions. So you must interpret the message and then come up with the correct status and update the data table order. Next, you must use the get rows in the data table tool to get the details of the customer order, such as their name, email, item, quantity, etc. Finally, you must use the information to send a personalized email regarding their order. Now, in order for the AI agent to do that, we have to hook it up to a model, or AKA its brain. So I've added the OpenAI chat model, and I'm just using GPT 4.1 mini. Next, I've given it simple memory. This allows the AI agent to have context. So for example, if there was an ongoing thread of back and forth, then the AI agent actually has those messages stored so it can respond with the context. And then finally, the 3 action tools. The first one that we're going to look at is the get rows in the data table. So what we've done here is we've set the operation to get from the data table pizza orders, and then we've matched the row based upon the ID, and we've let the AI agent define automatically what value that should be. So you'll see in my original Slack message, I said that the order number 3 was ready to be picked up. The AI agent has read that and now has put number 3 in the value so it can get the correct row. After that, we need to go ahead and update the data table. So you'll see in this second node, update rows in the data table, the resources row operation says update, the data table is pizza orders. And again, we're matching exactly the same way on the ID, and we let the AI define automatically what row they should be updating. If we scroll down, the next thing that they'll be updating is the status. And here we're gonna let the AI model also define what the status should be updated to. Finally, the customer needs to receive an email. So we're using a Gmail send message node, and we've given complete control to our AI model. So the operation is send, to will be defined by the model, subject will be defined by the model, and message will be defined by the model. One last tip is to always make sure that you set append n8n attribution to off. So those are the 3 tools that our internal AI agent does. You could add more based upon your use case, so think of all the possibilities as it's limitless. Finally, we need to respond back to the Slack channel. So we've got a post Slack message node. Again, add your credentials, send the message to the correct channel, which is going to be orders, and we'll use the message text to be set to the output from the AI agent. And then we're going to include the message timestamp to reply to, so that the AI agent's message is linked to the original Slack message that was sent by the restaurant. So there you have it. There's a complete end-to-end restaurant booking system that takes the information from a form, stores it in n8n's new data table feature, and has a Slack AI agent that is able to update the data table along with personalized emails being sent along the way for the different statuses. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you want the full n8n templates for free, make sure to join my automation vault. The link's in my bio, and you'll have access to all of my n8n templates that I create. And finally, don't forget to subscribe for more n8n tutorials.